Hello, I'm Franciscan Father Albert Haase. And many times people say that the big bugaboo in the spiritual life is trying to resist the temptation of the devil. And that's true. The devil is real. The power of darkness certainly manifests itself in our world today. And all of us have to learn how to resist the devil. But I think that there's another bugaboo in the spiritual life, and one of the great challenges in spiritual formation is that of overcoming the ego, learning to die to myself. What I'd like to talk about briefly now is simply, what is the ego? How do we experience the ego in our lives? The late Trappist monk, a man by the name of Basil Pennington. Basil Pennington says that the ego is really our over-emotional investment in what I have, what I do, and what people think of me. That I become so obsessed with my possessions, what I have. I become so obsessed with my occupation and my job, what I do. And I become so obsessed with what my people think of me, my reputation, that all of those things begin to become distractions in my own spiritual life. And as they become distractions, I end up detouring on the spiritual journey in order to protect what I have, what I do, what people think of me. There's another way of understanding the ego, and that's also done by another Trappist monk, a man by the name of Thomas Keating. Thomas Keating describes the ego as the 4 emotional energy centers in our lives. From Keating's perspective, there are 4 key areas in my life where we tend to focus all of our emotional energy. The first emotional energy is that of security, that I really become worried and concerned and obsessed with my house, my belongings, having food on the table, making sure that I have a comfortable lifestyle. The second emotional energy center, according to Keating, is that of power and control. And that is that I spend all of my life trying to be in charge of life, trying to take control of every situation. And of course, when I try to take control of every situation in my life is going to be filled with anxiety because life does not always cooperate with my desire to be in charge, with my desire to be in control. Keating says that the third emotional energy center in our lives is that of our need for affection, approval, and esteem. This is the energy center where I'm constantly looking in the mirror of my reputation, and I'm always wanting to make sure that I am being appreciated by other people. I have this deep emotional need to be accepted and liked. And of course, when I end up doing that, when I end up running after my emotional need for other people's esteem and affection, I literally end up living my life according to their agenda and not according to the agenda that God might be calling me to. Finally, according to Keating, the fourth energy center in our lives is that of our identification with a group. That we have a tendency to think that my ethnic background or my nationality is the one and only and the best. And everybody who belongs outside my ethnic background or outside my nationality can be the potential enemy and should be suspected. So Keating says these are the 4 emotional energy centers that our ego tends to focus on. And then he suggests that the wisdom of Jesus in the Beatitudes is that in the Beatitudes, Jesus challenges those 4 energy centers. That according to the energy center of security that says, I need a house, I need a place to live, I need food on the table, Jesus says, oh no. Jesus says, blessed are the poor. For people who have to be in control, who have the need and are always feeding the energy center of power and control, Jesus says, wait a minute. Jesus says, blessed are the meek. They are the ones who inherit the land. For people who are always looking for other people's esteem and affection and esteem, Jesus says, wait a second. Jesus says, blessed are you when they persecute you and they call you every name. And for people who are obsessed and over-identify themselves with their ethnic group, Jesus again says, blessed are you when they persecute you, when they call you other names. In other words, from Thomas Keating's perspective, the Beatitudes basically dismantle and challenge the entire thinking of those four energy centers. Now, there's a final way that I like to think of the ego, and it's simply this, that the ego is my over-emotional obsession with self-concern, self-image, self-gratification, and self-preservation. In many ways, this is the same thing that Basil Pennington and Thomas Keating. I just like to use the four ideas of self-concern, self-image, self-gratification, and self-preservation. Because when you think about it, all of our sins tend to circulate around our obsession with self-concern. What am I getting out of it? Is this satisfying me? Self-image. Does this make me look good? Does this make me feel important? Self-gratification, my sexual needs, my needs to always be in charge and feel like I'm the master of my own destiny. And then finally, self-preservation, my over-concern with having things and having things for me to take care of. So, it's true. The devil is a major challenge in the spiritual life, but I also think another major challenge in the spiritual life is our ego, and we need to overcome the ego to die to self in order to be the people that God created us to be. May the Lord give you peace. Thank you very much.